Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a more serious one, and it's going to be longer than my normal videos. This video is going to be like my story through sexual abuse and the process of court and the not details what I've gone through, but how I cope with it and how I get through with my PTSD and just stuff like that. So I'm just gonna start from the beginning. My parents got divorced, I think, when I was 10 or 11, and I decided to stay with my dad and live with him. It was good for about the first year, and then after that, emotional abuse started happening from my stepmom and from my not my stepdad, but my dad. And it was rough. It was a lot of the emotional abuse was about my body and the type of clothes I would wear. So like, I would look too fat in something, it was just a lot of emotional abuse. Like, there was this one time I had therapy and my stepmom said work was more important than I was. So I was left, she left, my therapy ended at like 5:30 and I was left there till 8. And I was bawling, and when I got in the car, she's like, there's no reason to cry. There's no reason. And I tried to explain to her how it affected me, and she's just like, there's no reason for it. You were fine. I sat there for 3 hours, and if there wouldn't have been another therapist there, I would have been stuck there by myself out in the cold. I believe it was like February. So in Minnesota, that was like 30 degrees at that time, and it just wouldn't have been good. And then it just continually got worse. And when I was 13, that is when my dad and stepmom both sexually abused me. And I eventually moved out to my mom's. Before that, though, I ended up in the mental hospital 3 times from cutting or overdosing and stuff like that. It was just get bad all the way around, and I think it was my 14th birthday, not birthday, but it was Easter when I was 14. I went up to visit my mom and my siblings and those guys, and I got up there and I was just like relieved. I felt comfortable. I was actually sleeping. I felt comfortable enough to be myself, and I didn't have to worry that somebody was gonna hurt me. I didn't have to worry about any of that. And I decided that I was going to move back with my mom and live with her. And my dad actually took it pretty well. I was surprised. But then he started coming after my mom about how she's a terrible parent, how she's a narcissist. And later on, I found out that my dad was actually the narcissist, and of how much emotional trauma he caused me, and how much emotional trauma my stepmom caused me. And after I figured all that out and I saw a therapist, it was just gnawing at me that my dad and stepmom abused me. And after about 3 months, I think it was, I finally told my mom that what happened, and we reported it, and it took, at first nobody believed me. Everybody, like even the police department didn't check it out. It took a whole year for them just to go check it out, put the report in. The police in Iowa was actually really good. Like they interviewed me, they got the case going, but because it happened in Minnesota, it didn't go anywhere because Minnesota didn't do anything. The department of the town I lived in, for the police, they didn't even go check it out. So after about a year, stuff finally got moving, and they took my dad and my stepmom in to custody, and they both made bail. And after they were released, my dad went missing. My mom was worried. We all were that he was gonna come after us, so we went out and stayed with my grandparents because they live way out in the country where nobody knows about. And I think it was like a month later, they found him. He was out in the woods. They don't exactly know what happened. I personally think he committed suicide, but nothing was for sure. They just found him, and we had the funeral, and I had to see Stacy again. Well, she wasn't allowed to have contact with me, but it was just knowing she was there that, like, made it hard for me. And it just was terrible. After she made bail, nothing really happened. They set up a court date. Because of COVID, it got pushed back. And then she needed extra time for some reason, and they pushed it back. They pushed it back for 2 years. It was 2 years, and yesterday, actually, she was sentenced to 12 years and an extra 2 years for being out that long. And it just is such a relief. Like, I don't think people realize how much of a relief it is. I don't have to worry about when I go visit my family in Minnesota that she could be there. And the town my uncle was living in, she was there with people from their church. They were giving her a place to live, and I had saw them, and I didn't even know that that's where she was staying. And then the people, they were like my foster parents. I feel like they ended up taking my stepmom's side, and that, it really hurt, but at the same time, now I realize that they were part of my life. They did help me, but they obviously didn't, like, not necessarily believe me, but I don't know how to phrase it. They just didn't, they took her side, I guess. I don't know, but that was rough, and finding all that out was hard, but I made it through it. It took over 2 years. It took 2 years for our justice system to give me the closure I needed and to get through. Like, I feel a lot more free now. I feel like I just am so filled with relief, and it helps to know I don't have to worry about going to Minnesota and seeing her and reliving, getting flashbacks. I still have bad dreams. I still have nightmares of the stuff that happened, and I'm on medication for that. I have panic attacks, and they're way fewer now because I know how to handle my anxiety, but I've been in therapy pretty much all my life from the trauma that they put me through. And I have an in-home service, I have just regular therapy, I have trauma therapy, and I have OT. And I learned so many skills from that. Like, if I wouldn't have had therapy, I wouldn't be where I'm at. My self-confidence is really low. It takes a lot for me to be like, hey, yeah, I feel good today, or it's gonna be a good day. I have to work on my positive thoughts. I have to make sure so if I have like a negative thought, I have to reframe that to positive and think of the positive in a situation instead of thinking the automatic negative. And it's rough because I still hear their voices in my head telling me things that make it hard for me to get through the day sometimes. I'll have breakdowns for no reason because my anxiety is high for whatever reason it is. And it's just rough. In trauma therapy, we work on grounding skills. I don't know if you know what those are, but they're like tapping or looking at objects. For me, it's I look at an object and spell it, and it takes my mind off whatever it is that I need to not think about. I just went through so much, and I want people to know that if you have gone through this, it's okay. You're gonna be okay. It takes a lot to overcome it, and it'll be with you the rest of your life. And it takes a lot to be confident and love yourself. And that's the thing I struggle with the most is self-love. And that's what my channel's all about, because I want people to love themselves, to be confident, to be happy. And I haven't really, this is the first time I'm really speaking about it on my channel. And not a lot of people know, even in my everyday life. I only tell close friends, because I don't want somebody to use it against me, because there are people out there that will do that don't care. And I know it's rough if you've gone through this. There is so many people that's gone through it that are hiding it, that are trying to get through it themselves, and you will need support. You can't go through this alone. And it may feel like there's nobody there for you, but there is. There are people that love you. There are people that care about you for who you are. And you just need to find those people. You need to trust those people. And just know that you are loved. And if you have gone through this and haven't told anybody, please let somebody know. Whether it's your local police department or a parent, or if you're an adult, get it out there, because you don't want that to happen to somebody else. You don't want the same person to go after somebody else. And I just want you to know that it'll be okay. It will take a long time. I was 13 when this happened, and I'm 17, and court took 3 years just to go through all that. And she blames me for it. My stepmom at court yesterday, she blamed me for what happened, and that hurts because I already feel like it's my fault. Like, I know it's not my fault, but in the back of my head it still nags at me. And it's hard, it really is, to know that the person that hurt you doesn't care, that they don't feel bad for it. And I just want you to know that I'm here for you. Leave a comment down below, DM me on Instagram. Just let me know if you need help or anything. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.